you do not exercise control and choose something else. None of this will save you. None of this will save you. It's actually easy to choose and say, I am going to do what was done to me. I was abused and I will abuse. I will do the same thing. I will live in a victim mindset. That's so easy. It is very, very hard to take yourself out of those situations. Look back at it and say, you know what? I need therapy. I need to fix myself. I need to journal because there are aspects about myself that because of what happened to me, I became this person. I am not my trauma. You are not your trauma. But it did shift you in a way. And when you can take accountability for your own toxic traits and say, I'm willing to work on this because I will not hurt people in the same way I was hurt, that's courageous. But when they say practice outworks talent, when talent is not working, the people that want something bad enough and keep working and keep striving towards it actually become more successful. I grew up in an environment where I constantly needed to prove myself to my parents. I needed to prove myself to everybody. I needed to reiterate that I was a good child. I was doing great. I did it again and again. So when I grew up, I did that same with my friends. I did the same with my colleagues. I started off on social media with critics. I would argue with them, prove that I was right. But I realized I don't need to prove anything to anyone. It is very draining to constantly prove yourself to anyone, not your parents, not anyone. Just make sure what you're doing is good. Realize that people can be disrespecting and be manipulating you. And I never used to realize when someone was being disrespectful or bullying me or promising me stuff but never delivered. I always thought like, oh, this is just normal. People are just like that because that's how I grew up. But when I came out of that, I can now see when disrespect is happening, when I can be like, oh, that was not nice. No, you crossed me here. I realized when you say to someone, hey, listen, I do not appreciate that when you treat me like this, and they constantly keep treating you like that. This person is disrespecting you and you lack boundaries. When somebody tells you, oh, you will get this from me, I promise you this, and all these things, but they never deliver, this person is manipulating you. You get hurt by a situation and you tell them, hey, listen, what you did really hurt me, and they are telling you, oh no, you're being sensitive, you're overly dramatic, whatever. This person is gaslighting you. Start realizing this is not normal behavior. There is no respect here. You are the one that's being disrespected. And when you see something like this happen, actually step back and say, I will not allow this to happen to me. I'm not going to let it treat me like this. Do not constantly give in and just forgive them and forget about it, because they will continue to do it again and again and again until you be at your breaking point. Unless you see changed behavior and actually done putting so much effort into changing, you can now say, okay, I will allow you back into my life. Start to realize that it is sometimes better to be lonely. A couple of months ago, I was at a point where I was really lonely, even though I have a few friends around that genuinely care about me. But it wasn't just enough. I used to have friends that we've shared so much together, but boundaries had to be set. I wouldn't say we were never friends. I'd say it was good while it lasted, and I'd rather love them from a distance than get disrespected over and over. Let me feel lonely now. It's fine. I am no longer in the position where I would allow someone to use me, because I am now firm with my boundaries, and I began to thank God for my small circle for letting those who are in the past stay in the past. I am lonely because it is so much better to be lonely than to be surrounded by people that do not have your best interests at heart. So I chose discipline over motivation. You do the things you do because you know what? This is my goal. Do you guys think that I actually want to go to the gym all the time? Not at all. I I don't want to read books all the time either. But listen, I can choose not to do it and be a loser, or I can actually be like, you know what? I'm going to do this, even though I don't feel like it. For me, I do things on impulse without really thinking about them. I just go to the gym. I just read that book. Even if it is one chapter, I read it. Or sometimes just how little by little I have become more successful every single day. Another good thing is surround yourself with winners. By this, I do not mean surround yourself only with successful people that have money. No, I mean people with a winning mentality like yours. People that can actually say, hey, you know what? Maybe today I'm not there, but I'm going to get there. People that uplift you, people that are like minds, people that would say, you know what, Abby, let's do this, let's risk it. People with the winning mentality, they do not fear failure. They do not crumble by one single thing that life throws at them. You would never hear them say things like, oh, I am done, I'm never going to try this again. No, winners are people that will be like, I had a bad day today, damn it, and tomorrow we go again. Maybe the day after will be another bad day, but we'll keep doing it. We have to go again and again. These are winners. Surround yourself with people with such mentality. For a long time, I tend to attract people who always want me to give and give and give. In my friendships, that always needed help. People that needed someone to rescue them. So I'm always willing to give out help and advice, everything. But you know what? At the end of the day, I was not evolving. Then I started to surround myself with people with the same mentality as myself. And that way I felt more confident because they think like me as well, and together we can flourish. But if you have someone constantly pulling you down every time, help me, help me, help me, or they ask you why you taking that course, what's special about it? Can't you do this job like that? Isn't it everyone is doing? Are you the only one that wants to make money? Who? Run! Some don't even know more than help me, help me, help me, and they don't want to help themselves. With such people, I cannot go for that. Another thing is realize that you might be running from something. I find it very suspicious when some people indulge in certain habits like excessive drinking, taking substance, etc. Some people do it every single day. They go out drinking and clubbing and they get wasted because they're not willing to deal with their reality. When I made that conscious decision of letting go of my abandonment issue, I dropped a lot of things. I faced it. It was hard, but I said to myself, Abby, you're going to deal with this. And so I did. So please set yourself and think about it. What am I running from? What is wrong? Why do I need to constantly resort in alcoholism? What is that thing that is eating me up? What's that thing that is causing me pain? Start to think about it. Realize that you're not your trauma. All of those habits I grew up learning and portraying when I don't have self control, being aggressive, yelling, I realized they were just defense mechanisms. So what's what happened with me? And I am not that person anymore because I healed and I know. I know how you may think that it's unfair that whatever happened to you, you don't want to deal with it because you feel like, why should I deal with something that I didn't do to myself? But honestly, if there's one thing in my life that was so liberating, was actually going to therapy, starting to heal myself. Listen, no one is coming to save you. I said it earlier. So shake it up and get going. Find healing because that's the only thing that will bring you things. Alhamdulillah, I am a different person now. I'm a person with so much strength now. I'm a person with so much wisdom now. Even David Goggins from the interview I mentioned that I was watching earlier, he said that abused kids have more advantage over the unabused ones because from a young age they have been taught to be tough. They are learning lessons from a young age. They think differently and see the world in a different light, but they can be so hard on themselves and put themselves in a stressful situation. Listen, you can decide today and be like, you know what? It is so unfortunate these things happen to me, but I will turn that around and change it into something that is good for myself so I can show others that they can do the same thing as well. You know how hard it is for people watching this that are going through this right now. Like how hard it is to live in that situation. I promise you, if you start believing in yourself, if you start speaking up for yourself, if you actually start caring for yourself, you will thrive on a whole different level. I promise you that. Because honestly, if I could do it, anyone can do it. And I want you to remind yourself all the hurdles you've had to overcome in your life. You did those things already. This is how strong you are. You have dealt with bigger issues before, situations you thought you could not get out of, yet you did, and you continued with your life. This shows how strong you are. I can literally say, Abby, I am so proud of you. Choose to work on yourself today. Choose to stop generational trauma. Because in my own case, my kids, inshallah, will not go through this. It ends with me. I have each rock bottom in my life once, and I would not ever be there again because I realized that these issues are not mine. So I let them go and I chose healing. And one thing about God, He tests and challenges the ones He loves. God that removes you from a situation only to put you in a similar one just to teach you lessons through the mistakes you will make over and over until he's convinced that yes, you are ready. And finally, realize that there's power in thanksgiving. When I was worried about the things that I do not have, and I completely forgot to say thanks to God for the ones that I already prayed for and I already have them, the ones that I already manifested. May God forgive us and help us to give gratitude because Quran 14:7 says, and if you are grateful, I'll surely increase you in favor. So tell me, which of the favors of God will you deny? Absolutely none. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. It's a long one. I hope you enjoy everything. And I pray that you're blessed beyond measure. I hope you get everything your heart desires in this world. And I'd also like to let you know that whatever you set your mind to can be accomplished. Anything at all. Thank you so much for watching.